It's a two-bill Tuesday. We're going to talk about the Colts franchise tag deadlines today for the NFL. And Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce, both guys who may be tagged or could be tagged, either of them, by the Colts. If they sign Daniel Jones to an extension, they could tag Alec Pierce. If they have to tag Daniel Jones, they don't have a franchise tag to use on Alec Pierce. So it's kind of an important day for the Indianapolis Colts and how their roster is going to be comprised for the 2026 season. We're going to talk about the Texans. They made a couple of trades yesterday. They got better yesterday. They acquired David Montgomery, and then they acquired a draft pick for a former starting offensive lineman. But the trade for David Montgomery, they had to give up a fourth and a seventh. That's kind of a big deal. Fourth round pick, you can get somebody. And so acquiring David Montgomery, the running back from the Lions, in exchange for that immediate fourth round pick and a seventh for next year's draft, kind of an important deal. At the running back spot, they've been wanting. David Montgomery is a professional running back, closing in on the age of 30, but still a very professional running back who can be expected to get those tough yards, get into the end zone. We'll talk about it. Miami of Ohio, the AD there, is very upset with Bruce Pearl because Bruce Pearl said that Miami of Ohio does not deserve an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. They need to get into the tournament via a MAC tournament championship. I totally agree for once with Bruce Pearl. I don't think that Miami of Ohio, if they played a Big Ten schedule, I don't think they'd win a game. I watched them play in person. I've watched them on TV. They just don't have anybody who's Big Ten level good. And they don't have enough MAC level really good players to be able to, we remember, and it doesn't happen very often, but at Miami of Ohio, they had Wally Zerbiak, they had Ron Harper, right? Both those guys, really good basketball players. I don't think this current Miami of Ohio team has any players of that ilk. You need a player of that ilk to move along in the NCAA tournament. That's what Bruce Pearl's saying. He may have expressed it with what the people at Miami of Ohio feel like is insulting hyperbole, but I think he's absolutely accurate. I think that if Miami of Ohio played in the Big Ten, they wouldn't win a game. They can beat their own, but moving up in class and beating Big Ten teams is a different level challenge. But that AD's mad, and then probably also upset that Travis Steele, going into halftime of the Western Michigan game over the weekend, which they won. They came back and won. You know what? That Travis got upset with the officials, and he may have harmed some DJ equipment used by a Western Michigan guy who DJs those games. And as a result, he's been fined $25, and he's got to pay the DJ for the equipment, or somebody does. There you go. This is Breakfast with Kent for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry, Dr. Mike O'Neill, the best in the business. Best dentist I've ever seen, only dentist I've seen the last 33 years. I like my teeth. I want them to stay in my mouth. So I go to a dentist to help keep them. I don't want them to fall out. I don't want problems. I don't want cavities. None of that. Dr. Mike O'Neill helps me keep my mouth really, really healthy. He can do the same for you. 317-849-2933 is the number. Become a member. Great way to support this channel. 2 tiers of membership. Neither going to cause you to miss any. It's like 30 cents a day for the most expensive membership, for God's sake. Those of you who derive joy from this channel, like me, I'll become a member. Become a member. Become a subscriber. We are scheduled, I found out this morning, to get the shipment of autographed jerseys that we expected yesterday. We're going to get them today. We will reveal what they are. We'll do that this afternoon. And then every Thursday for the next 4 Thursdays, we're going to give away an autographed jersey, some kind of autographed jersey. I'll show you who later on today. And you got to be a subscriber to win them. So must hit the subscribe button. We're closing in on 25,000 subs. Become the next one now, absolutely free. You got to use the phrase that pays. And the phrase that pays today is no, Nando. Don't allow yourself to be drafted by the Raiders. So that's the phrase that pays. That counts as your entry. Smash that like button, and if you want to make a donation, make a donation, no big whoop. But please include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel. Good morning, all. Hit the like button. Hell yeah. Could IU beat Miami of Ohio? IU would beat Miami of Ohio by 20, 25 points. Absolutely. They'd have no answer for Alexis. I don't think they'd have a real answer for Wilkerson. And defensively, Indiana is good enough to mitigate Suter. So there you go. Let's talk about sports. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts because the Colts have a big day today. It is franchise tag deadline day. We are 6 days out from from free agency. The legal tampering period starts on March 9th, and then the new calendar year for the NFL starts on March 11th. So let's talk about what the Colts options are here. And the Colts options are these. They can sign. Oh, there's a Charles Egger says, morning, Kent. I didn't know he had 18 D1 coaches from Indiana. Wish Woody was fired earlier for Dusty, John Gross, Travis Steele, Scott Drew, Richie McKay, or Micah Shrewsbury. Love our state. I love our state too. But I wouldn't hire too many of those guys to be the Indiana coach. Dusty? I'm good with Dusty. All right. But the Colts, they can sign an extension with Daniel Jones today and franchise Alec Pierce. That I've always thought was the most likely way to go with this thing. Good morning, Kent. Spring is in the air. Spring was in the air for me yesterday. I was down in Bradenton, Florida, over at Anna Maria Island, having a great time. And all of a sudden, we're on a plane and we're back here and it's snowing. What the hell? Or it had snowed. We didn't actually see the snow fall. You could franchise Alec Pierce. Like right before 3 o'clock, if you're not going to get an extension done with Daniel Jones, I'm franchising Pierce. Because Pierce, the franchise tag for him is going to be $27 to $28 million. His market value is relatively close to that. So I'd go ahead and do it. If it looks like you're not going to get Jones done with a tag or with a long-term deal, but you still expect to, I use a tag on Pierce. If it looks like you're so far apart with Jones that you got no chance to get it done, I am not going to franchise tag Daniel Jones. $47 million for a guy who's recovering from a broken leg and recovering from a torn Achilles, which was surgically repaired, has had a myriad of other injuries that have kept him out of games over the course of his career. I'm not spending that kind of money on I'm going to take the 47. I'm going to build me a defense. I'm going to see what I can go out there and get as a quarterback who's going to be able to kind of bridge the gap between what we got now and what we're going to have. I'm just not doing it. I would be okay keeping Anthony Richardson rather than spend $47 million on Daniel Jones. I know, that sounds crazy. It's not. Spending $47 million without proof of health with Daniel Jones, I think, is a colossal, irresponsible move. So there you go. How can you get more cap space to be able to build the defense while retaining Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce? Trading for Mac Jones, it's a possibility. You could do it. Redo Pittman's deal. He's got $29 million against the cap this coming year. You kick that out a couple of years. You spread the $29 million, add a few more. That's how you do that. You cut Franklin. Zaire Franklin's got to go. $8.5 million down to $2.5 million, something like that, because he's got $2.5 million in dead money. All right, I'd rather have the 6 or 5.5 to 6 than have Zaire Franklin run slowly, trying to cover receivers, tight ends, and running backs. You can extend Nelson and Taylor to bring down the 26 cap hits of 24.2 and 15.6 million to about half of those. That would create about 19 million. Jones with a raise like that, that's huge and it's risky, and I'm not in. Ballard is going to really, to be a good general manager, he's got a guy, right, who does all the cap work for him. But you got to be pretty good at math to understand on the fly what you need to do, what you don't need to do. What are the cap ramifications of franchise tagging Jones, extending Pierce? I see. What if we flip that and we extend Jones and tag Pierce? Okay. I understand why one is better than the other. You got to get linebackers. You must get linebackers. Either of the Devons, fine by me. Devin Lloyd, Devin Bush, let's go. I'd like both Devons if we can get both of them. You know what? This is always an option. And I think it's the option that Chris Ballard gravitates toward, running it back. Running it back is not an option for 2026. Doing that again would be colossally stupid, a massive mistake, because they did that last year and they wound up with the same exact record. To buy into the fool's gold of that 8-2 start, they are every bit as much the 0-7 finish as they are the 8-2 start, which was buffeted by an easy schedule in the early going of that season, right? Don't talk to me about 8-2 when two of those wins were against the Titans and another was against the Cardinals, another was against the Raiders. The win against Denver, that was real. The almost win against the Rams, that was almost real. But you've got to have a culture and you've got to tell guys. You have to build it from the primary blocks. You have to foundationally build this thing so guys know, don't drop the damn football when you're running into the end zone. And how about don't hold on the outside where it's the easiest call for an official ever on a touchdown run for Jonathan Taylor? Are you out of your mind? A.D. Mitchell cost the Colts that game against the Rams all by himself. All by himself. Two unbelievably stupid plays. His penalty, the correct penalty, he's now with the Jets. Let's talk about the trades that the Texans made. Tytus Howard goes from the Texans to the Browns for a 5th-round pick. He was the starting right tackle and was 58th out of 89, according to Pro Football Focus. David Montgomery to the Texans from the Lions. He's going to be 29, I think, in June. The Lions didn't need him because they've got Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs, they think, is ready to be an every down back. Now, Montgomery was terrific. He's a pro. 4.5 yards a carry in 26. The Texans gave up Juice Scruggs, a 26 4th-rounder, and a 27 7th-rounder. Scruggs started as in 24, and then he was a backup in 25. Montgomery, over 1,000 yards twice, averaged 11 touchdowns per season with the 3 years, in the 3 years with the Lions. When he was a Bear, he was fine. He was who he was. And I would expect him to be the same guy with the Texans. All right, let's talk about Miami of Ohio. The AD is furious with Bruce Pearl because Bruce Pearl said that Miami of Ohio would finish last in the Big East. I think he's right. I don't think they can beat a Big Ten team, any Big Ten team. I don't think they can beat Penn State, Minnesota, Northwestern. I don't think they can beat any of them. I don't think they can beat Indiana. They're just not that good. They're MAC good. They're not Big Ten good. David Sellier, who is the AD, might be pissed, but Pearl was accurate. Pearl told the truth. And I never agree with Bruce. Bruce Pearl's a really smart basketball coach, but I think he's a shady character. Rules, problems everywhere. Had the problem when he was an assistant at Iowa, carping about Illinois. PJ White, 28, says, were we wrong to expect IU to make the tournament in year one? First year at West Virginia went 9-13, missed the tournament. 19-13. He signed mid-major transfers here, and we expected them to keep up with Big Ten talent. I'm not sure they still aren't going to make the tournament. They played well enough to beat good teams. You know, they have. They beat UCLA, who will make the tournament. They beat Purdue, who obviously is going to make the tournament. They're capable of playing winning basketball. They're 8-10. They've got a couple of games down the stretch that they could lose, they could win. The first one tomorrow night in Bloomington against Minnesota, and then they travel over the weekend to Ohio State to finish out the regular season. They'd have to win a game or two in Chicago to cement their status as an NCAA tournament team. I still think they got I don't think it's a good shot, but they got a shot. So don't muck your hand yet. And the people at Miami of Ohio need to be happy. Not take it as an insult that they couldn't win in the Big East or the Big Ten. Just be happy that you're filling that crazy arena, which is one of the most unique in college basketball. It's more like a theater that they turned into a basketball arena. Millett Hall is really, really kind of interesting and a fun place to watch basketball. And they're filling it. Instead of 400 or 500 fans going to games, they got 10,000. I think it's awesome. Be happy who you are. Put it on your team. Say, you know what? It's up to them to prove Bruce Pearl wrong. It's not up to me to yell about it. Travis Steele, at halftime of the Western Michigan game, which he came back and they won, he went a little bit haywire, yelled at the officials, then he broke some DJ equipment, and the DJ wants to gain restitution, which is about $3,000, and the MAC has fined Travis Steele $2,500. That's the difference between the MAC and like the Big Ten. In the Big Ten, when they fine people, it's not $2,500. You could write that check. I could write that check. Travis Steele could write that check. The check that's going to get the attention of somebody like Darren DeVries or a Tom Izzo or a Matt Painter, going to have one additional zero, if not two additional zeros. So Travis, fine. Good for him, man. You know what? And good for that whole staff. Good for Travis. Good for Benny Botts. Those guys doing great work down in Oxford. They have built something special. They're undefeated. Be happy. Don't pay any attention to the national media, for God's sake. What in the world is the matter with you? Let's celebrate some birthdays on this Tuesday, shall we? Remington Wright. Happy birthday, James Audley. Happy birthday, Jake Austin Smith. Happy birthday, Russ Bownell. Happy birthday, Jody Valerio, Chris Sanar, Christine Woodward Duncan celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to Christine. I liked her very much as a market manager at Emmis. Colin Watkins celebrating a birthday, former intern of mine. Happy birthday to him. Sam Teets, happy birthday. Luther Laughlin, happy birthday. And Kyle Corbin, happy birthday. If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, you celebrate somebody else. That's best done with an honest and specific compliment. Lift each other up. Don't pull each other down. And Chris Ballard, do not franchise tag Daniel Jones. Don't do it. $47 million for a guy who can't stay healthy? At least it would be $47 million for a year and no responsibility beyond that. Definitely don't sign him to a 4-year deal where you guarantee something like $47 million. That would be cockamamie and crazy.